Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Lounge 8/14/20. Hope all you guys are doing well on this lovely Friday evening, and I'm so glad to have you guys all back. Last week we had a little pep in our step with the lounge music prior, but this music is kind of really reflective of what's going on this weekend in the energy, and the energy is supposed to be one of calm and contentment. However, 6 planets are in retrograde, and the last couple of days, there could have been some heave-hos. And what do I mean by that, heave-ho? It means there could have been some upheavals and not so much comfortable energy. A lot of you are trying to say, should I go this way or should I go that way? Should I do this or should I do that? There's a lot of indecision right now. And so tonight at the lounge, we want to get you out of your head. We want to get you relaxed. We want to get you in thought about the cosmos, what's going on. And we're going to take this paranormal thing that we've been doing for the last couple of weeks and we're going to stretch it out. I'm so excited to bring on my lovely friend, Eric Sperazza, who I've known for a very long time. I met him. I'm probably going to be wrong about this and he's going to correct me, but I think that I met him at a radio station. Am I right, Eric? I'm not sure. He's backstage. He'll probably correct me. But then he was also a ghost hunter when I met him. And we had a lot of different things going on. He'll explain to you what that was. And then we have our lovely medium extraordinaire, Elise S, who just crushed it last week with Jason. And she just pulled out those cards and we got deep into his love and romantic situation. And I can't wait for him to come back on and tell us about those updates, if he has moved on from his previous relationship and if he is with the new woman. We shall see. But tonight, we are going to go deep. We're going to delve into skeptics, believers. Are you a skeptic or are you a believer? Which way do you go? And believe it or not, I have been a medium for 20 years. I know, it's been a long time. I feel like I'm in retirement. However, there's a lot of times even in my job where I'm like, I need this to be proven to me again and again. I still feel like I'm a seeker. I'm still seeking the truth. And, what else can I say? I'd love to say hi to a lot of you. Let's see. Carrie, what's going on? Carol, Lorraine, Curlin. Nice to see you, Curlin. Debbie, what's up, Debbie? Deneen, Christine, Lisa, Nancy. You guys are all cool. Carol in Dixon City. Got to give Dixon City a shout out because you know about Dixon City. I was at Home Goods today. Yeah, of course, with, at the end of the night when everybody's going home and with a mask on. I'm not going in there. Let me just tell you about Home Goods today. Let me just tell you. That's the only thing I've done in this quarantine for the last 5 months. I actually went to Home Goods. And there's a throw pillow drought. There's a drought of throw pillows. Every woman right now is going out and buying throw pillows. And they're I was in the throw pillow aisle and there were just people grabbing throw pillows and everybody is with their carts. I'm like, I got to get out of here. It was insane. And then their truck delivered income and it's just a throw pillow in demand. It's like going for bananas at the grocery store and there's a shortage. It was kind of crazy. So, all right. So without further ado, I would like to bring on my lovely friend and medium co-host for the night, Miss Elise S. She looks like she has a crown on tonight. It's very, very exciting. So let's bring her on. Oops, Eric, you're not supposed to be on yet.
Eric.
Hi, Elise.
Hey.
We did a little peep show with Eric. Yeah.
That's okay.
What's going on, Elise?
Not too much. Talking about which way to go. It's fallen into my life right now. Trying to decide how far I want to go, whether it's a regular job or if I want to push this forward, which I think I'm going to. So that's kind of good news.
What do you mean you're pushing what forward? I need to know what you're pushing forward because I need to give my insight on your life.
Doing more mediumship and readings and, just practicing what I preach, basically. So.
Oh, come on. You know that nobody practices what we preach. Come on now. I've been telling people how to live their life for 20 years and I still don't know how to live mine.
Well, better than me right now.
You know what? Doesn't Elise look like a queen tonight? She looks like a queen. You got to put your head in the middle of the wreath.
Oh,
yeah. No, in the middle. You had it there. Yeah. She looks like she's ready to, like, she is the queen tonight. She is in the castle. And I'll tell you, Elise is single, ladies, right? You're single.
I am.
And I've been trying for 20 years to find you the right suitor, but nobody's been good enough. Nobody's been good enough.
That's sorry. 50% on my side. A little too picky, but now these days, not that picky anymore. So if you've got somebody, reach out. I'm good.
Yeah, so what's your type? What's your type? What are you looking for?
Good sense of humor. They don't have to be good looking. Well, somewhat good looking.
Wait a second. They don't have to be good looking. Don't you want to like looking at them?
Well, no. I mean, they don't have to be like a Matthew McConaughey. Well, yeah, maybe a Matthew McConaughey. That might be a really nice match. Someone
just in case he's watching.
Well, hey Matt, I know you're married, so it's just someone that's just good-hearted, and they have a good sense of humor, and they get me. I think part of the battle is me. Yeah, so I take ownership of that.
If you ever want to date a medium and you're a man, just forget about your own thoughts. Just forget about having your own thoughts or your own privacy or your own mind, because you're going to have to wear just a silver platter on your head most of your life, because it's a real big thing, big role dating a medium, right? What'd you say?
No, I agree. I think, you have all of that energy that whether you suck it in from people, I can't be in a big crowd. So for me, being by myself, that downtime, so he would have to have that balance. Like, I'm not about, hey, let's go here, let's go there. I like on the weekends just to relax, enjoy myself.
Oh, so you're a homebody, huh?
I am. Yeah.
So are you one of the ladies at Home Goods that I was talking about that's going in, like, trying to compete for the throw pillows in the quarantine?
I have enough throw pillows in my house, so that would not be me.
All right, just checking. So what would be like an activity that you'd like to do with this new man we're going to manifest him into your life? That's what, and obviously there's no men on this feed. I mean, it's all us ladies, but somebody's got to know. Somebody's got to know somebody's, you know what I'm saying? Somebody's got to know somebody.
Hook a sister.
Oh, can I, you know what I'm thinking, don't you? Do you know what I'm thinking?
What?
Do you? Are we on the same page with this? So this
not too sure right now.
Could I talk about our connection, the boyfriend connection when we met?
Please do. That's like sad, but yes, let's do that. God.
So Elise came to a gallery, and then she ended up coming to the school, and we were like 1 degree of separation. I don't even know how to tell this story, but basically, she was married, she was divorced, I was single, and I ended up mingling, and I ended up getting a boyfriend. And it turns out that I met this boyfriend came to one of my galleries with this girlfriend that he had at the time. They
weren't boyfriend and girlfriend yet. It was right after.
Wait,
meaning what? you and the boyfriend.
What?
He had come with the other girlfriend first.
Yeah, they came to my gallery and got a reading.
All right. All right. Sorry, didn't interrupt.
No. Please interrupt, because I could be having this all wrong. I'd rather you interrupt me. I remember he had a wife beater on at the time. He was like not dressed for the gallery. You know what I mean?
Attention seeker.
Yeah, and I remember I gave them a reading, and I remember seeing that there was like a wall between them, like something wasn't working out, right? But I wasn't like just reading the guy and this woman, and something was just like the energy was not connected. Right. So then he ended up coming to the school. That's kind of a funny story in itself.
And that story's a good one. Go ahead.
Do you want to tell? So
I'll finish yours. I'll tell mine.
So then I ended up dating him, and then Elise and I, Elise went through the program. She's been with us for so long, and it turns out that woman that he was dating, there was a wall between them. They broke up, and Elise
she started dating.
She started dating Elise's ex-husband, who she started just broke up. So now we're having all this information at the grocery store, going back and forth about. Now Elise is like, oh, let me tell you about what your boyfriend, let me tell you about your boyfriend for what my ex-husband's girlfriend is telling me about when they were together. And so, yeah, that was interesting. That was weird,
pretty funny,
right?
Yes.
So we just figured we'd let you guys know that. Is there anything else you want to say about that situation, Elise?
Oh, well, when I started the program, we were at one of the first class. I think it was the very first class that I had with you, and we were doing psychometry. So the psychometry is the practice of taking an object and feeling the energy off of the object and reading messages from it. So we all had to throw our objects into this paper bag. So I picked this amulet out of the bag, not knowing that it's Marissa's.
Oh, did I put my own in there?
Yes, you did. I pulled it out.
Yeah,
so I'm reading it. I'm like, I'm getting an unrequited love from this amulet. And Marissa's like, no, that's not it. It's probably from a past life. And then I'm like, all right, it's her. Not knowing the person that was behind her was the person she was dating, which was my ex-husband's ex-girlfriend's ex-boyfriend. Say that 5 times fast.
Oh, wait,
remember you kept saying no, that's not it. That's probably from another relationship.
Yeah, because he had me convinced that he was in like Flynn. He was in it.
He was in it like to Errol Flynn of Errol Flynn of psychiatric.
But do you remember then when our other friend? Well, she became a friend. She came in a few classes later, and she was in the class and saw him there. Apparently, this guy had a history with the people in the area, or just there were people that knew him. And she came up to me after the class, and now I'm really dating him. He's in the class. It's not like I'm trying to date a student or anything. It was just kind of happened. You know what I mean? And he didn't want to be a student anyway. So, and it turns out she's telling me that I'm not saying anything bad about him. I don't know the truth, but she said, oh, honey, can I talk to you after class? Because I need to talk to you about that guy. If you're dating him, I need to talk to you. Apparently he dated her friend for like 12 years. And she was telling me that he was like stalking her. But he said he wasn't, So I had all these women come into this school and give me all this information about this guy. And we don't know. I don't know. We don't know. He laughed about it because she confronted him right in front of it. She confronted him. And he's like, oh, no, I was just joking. I was just following her jogging as a prank. Okay. We can go on and on about this relationship. We should probably get off the heave-ho here.
Whatever you want to discuss, but it was funny. It was funny. It's funny now. Back then, it's like, what the heck? Basically, with another word in it. Yeah.
But just for the viewing audience to know that this was a long time ago. So I'm no longer dating this person. Not like anybody knows who he is. They might.
I don't know. Somebody might.
We'll just keep that as a mystery. We'll keep we'll keep feeding you little drops and drops of these stories so you guys can. Yeah. So we'll just.
But what we've mentioned are all facts. We're not slamming anyone. We're not
No, these are just things.
No
that
libel,
happen.
No slander.
No, we're not saying the guy's a bad guy. We just don't know what the truth is.
We don't know, but it's funny. It's just our lives. That's all.
That's all. We'll give you more details another time about my love life because it spans decades.
Well, we all can talk about yours because I don't have a love life. So
okay. Well, I have a lot to go around. So not like in a promiscuous way, just a lot of stories. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So all right. Well, now that we've told everybody about this random story that we didn't plan on telling them, I would like to talk about our next guest who's coming on. And I know he's so excited backstage. He was supposed to be on last week, and for some reason, the link didn't get to him. And like I said, the show books itself, and it was meant to be that he's here this week. So I'm going to read a little bit of his bio. We're going to bring him on. He's got a lot of energy. He's a lot different than Jason. Like Jason is a very calm guy.
Laid back energy.
Laid back. Now Eric's a little fire starter, He comes at you, the sparks flying. And there ain't no ash coming down anytime soon. So holy cannoli, we'll get to it. So let's see what he has to say about himself. So Eric, okay, so he grew up a huge fan of watching paranormal investigative shows like In Search of with Leonard Nimoy and Sightings on Fox, as well as classic horror movies. As I got older, the passion continued. Classic horror movies. And as he got older, the passion continued. I thought the classic horror movie was As I Got Older, the Passion Continued, because that's my life. As I got older, the passion continued. In 2001, he began volunteering with a well-known paranormal investigations nonprofit. and then branched off and ventured into a new startup with fellow volunteers and enthusiasts specific to New Jersey. So he's a Jersey guy. He's done a lot of research in New Jersey. His career was in sales. So like all of us, he kind of came from a different background. He stopped abruptly in 2009 and as his life went through a massive paradigm shift in both his career and his life. And the farther he got away from being immersed in the world of the paranormal, the more skepticism crept in with him at times. Today, he's a corporate trainer, public speaker, father of 4. He's a jiu-jitsu practitioner and part-time personal fitness trainer. Ooh, ladies, look out for the Spereza Master. But he has not been on an investigation in 11 years, so I must have known him a long time because he was investigating. Now, Elise knows that I look at men's knees. This is how I judge them. I'm all about the knee. I look at men's knees. A lot of people look at guys' feet, their hair. No, I look at the knee. It tells me a lot about the person. And when I first met Eric, I wasn't, the knees were like drawing me it was the weird knee. So I didn't know if I could be friends with him. But then all of a sudden he morphed his body. He just went from a guy who really was smoking, drinking, whatever else he was. I don't know what he was doing, but he just like transformed his body, transformed his health, went through a huge transformation. And now the knees are like perfection. So he's going to have to show us the knee once he comes on. Oddly enough, his oldest daughter is obsessed with ghost hunting shows and begs him to rekindle the passion to believe. So we don't know if he believes or he's a skeptic now. I didn't get that far with him, but we've known each other a long time. So without further ado, I'd like to bring on my friend and former Weird Knee enthusiast and Weird New Jersey contributor and former paranormal investigator, Eric Sparrazza. What up?
Eric.
What's up, Eric? I'm muting you. So there you are.
I am muted.
How are you?
Muted.
No, we hear you. We hear you.
Oh, it said that I was muted. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I'm good. Thank you for having me on. This is so much fun.
Is it fun?
Yeah, it is.
Yet? Are you having fun yet?
Listen, we haven't done something collaborative.
Yeah, I mean, if you're having fun now, then I have a lot.
Our job's done.
I know, I do. If you're having fun now, there's nothing else I have to do.
Yeah. So
what's up? Tell us about you for a little bit.
Tell you about me. Okay, so I'll tell you that my mom was a big enthusiast of like spooky ghost stories, and she definitely believed that she had like a sixth sense in a lot of situations. And she took me to go see Ghostbusters in the 2nd grade. And I fell in love. And we started watching In Search of with Leonard Nimoy, as you said, and all these classic horror movies like 13 Ghosts and House on Haunted Hill with Vincent Price and Rosemary's Baby. And when Sightings came out on Fox, when Fox was big, we would watch that together. And right around 2001, I found a group that was on MSNBC. I'm watching MSNBC. I'm getting dressed for work, and they're like, "Hey, we're in Philadelphia, and we do paranormal investigations." And I'm like, "I was born to do this." So I hunted them down. I harassed them till they gave me an interview, and I became a volunteer.
Commercial?
I'm sorry.
Wow.
No, they were being interviewed on MSNBC.
Was that the ghost hunting group?
That the first one before I met you.
So was that the group I met you with, or?
No. This was there is a store called the Ghost Hunting Store in Burlington. Mm-hmm. It's owned by Dave Giuliano. Dave Giuliano's been around in this business forever and a day, and I started with him. Shortly thereafter, there was a few ladies that lived closer to me that were starting an offshoot, and I love the challenge of being part of a startup, whether it's business or so. I'm like, this means that I have a bigger hand in the creation of something, and I jumped on board. And for quite a few years after, I was with Garden State Ghost Investigations. And I brought in friends, my friend Eileen Mullen, of which I brought her in on that. And then for a little while, her and I were even doing stuff together. All the while, just passionate, a believer. And then the weirdest thing happened. I had a house fire in 2009. My house burned to the ground, right to the foundation. And I had 3 kids. And there was a part of me that suddenly just didn't want to celebrate death anymore. If that makes sense, right? Not celebrate death per se, like go out looking for dramatic stories of people on the other side, right? Like there was something very real about losing everything that you own and being responsible to like bring your children back up to a place of comfortability. And ironically enough, like $1,000 worth of ghost hunting gear had melted in the fire. And that was like my clean slate. I stopped investigating and I joined a gym. As you said, my knees got exponentially better.
Yeah, they got better.
That became it. And I think the farther away I got from it, the more I started raising eyebrows about, well, was that a thing or was that not a thing? And I had some really great stories along the way, but only one instance where something struck me after that house fire. Only one instance where something was like, hey man, that's not normal, and that should be recognized as being something that's special. But since then, I really haven't had the impetus to go out and try to start doing it again, except for my 21-year-old daughter, not 22 yet. She is obsessed. She's like cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over like everything paranormal investigations. She is probably listening to this or watching this in her room because she's too bashful to come downstairs. However, the fact
what
that
was this one thing that you had?
Yeah.
And the house. You said that there's one thing with this house fire that you couldn't explain. What was that?
So my mom was this old school New York Italian Catholic mom, right? Very much like think about a more refined, more educated Marissa Tomei and my cousin Vinny. Okay. And as she got sicker with cancer, she was really self-conscious about how she looked. And she would always tell me, she's like, don't be putting my picture on Facebook. I don't want this on the World Wide Web. But like at family events, I'd be taking pictures. And she's like, I don't take a picture of me. So she passed away in September of 2013. And in November of 2013, her birthday came around. So in my kitchen, there was an island, okay? A little island to, prepare food. And there was little dangling lights that kind of came down and hovered over said island. And early in the morning, I got my oldest daughter out to high school at that point. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I had made her breakfast and sent her on her way. And I remembered it was my mom's birthday, and I started putting together a picture collage of all these different pictures of her and just wishing her a happy birthday in heaven, Mom. And when I hit send on Facebook, the lights blew out over my head on the island. And I said, she's not happy that I just posted her picture on Facebook. And so that was the only thing that really had jumped out and not so much startled me, but raised an eyebrow. That was very, very suspicious. Whereas when I was engulfed in it, and I like to think about it when I talk to people of faith, right? People of religious faith, whatever type of theology you subscribe to, when you're around people that are enthusiasts with you, you're like under this faucet, under this shower of faith, right? Because you're surrounded by these people that believe you and believe in you and believe in the same things that you do. And then when you step away from that shower, you just get trickles here and there. And it's a lot harder to wrap your brain around something as being all in. And I think that the longer I stayed away from this, the harder it was for me to see in the real world the unexplainable, if that makes sense, right? Like something that pulled me away from being in a world and putting myself in situations where I was constantly involved in oddball conversations and strange situations and strange audio recordings and photography and people that were excited about it with me. And then when you separate yourself from that, you're no longer under that faucet, and that's where doubt kind of creeps in again. And I spent a lot of time reconciling that. Ironically enough, with my friends that were in the investigations group, I talked about it all the time. I said, with no disrespect and nothing but love for you, I'm having a hard time, with the dichotomy of wanting to believe in this and yet no longer seeing it in my day-to-day life. And I think the loss of family is a huge part of that. And I'll tell you why. When you go to these people's houses as a nonprofit investigator and they're looking to see if they're crazy or if, you come across something that is oddball, especially if it's a private residence or even a business, like if they invite you in to do an investigation overnight, you can come back with these fantastical stories and then do the research of the building and talk about people that had passed on long ago. And you formulate this whole story about how you're being communicated with, right? And when you lose people around you, and I've lost quite a bunch of people around me in the last couple of years, friends and family, and that connection is not there, present in somebody's life. Like, I always assumed that, like, when my mother passed away, if, you pissed her off, the walls would bleed, right? Like in Amityville Horror. But, like, I always felt that, like, especially with someone like my mom or my grandparents, old school Italian Catholics, like, I always assumed that there would be something that would have a connection with me after they had gone. And when that wasn't evident in my life anymore, it was a lot harder for me to reconcile other people's stories, of which I dedicated years and years and years and years to investigating and doing research on and presenting reports on. Like, there's something to be said about when it's no longer in your home personally, it's really hard to believe that it's in somebody else's home. And I dealt with it all the time.
So I'm getting, and just like listening to you, it does seem like when your mom passed that a lot of this changed for you, and a lot of like the skepticism probably came in because of that grief and because of that loss. I had the same situation. My dad passed like 4 years ago, and this, losing a parent, and I lost my dad, and I talked about this freely, but I lost my dad to suicide, and thinking, oh my God, I'm a medium. Why wasn't I able to stop this? Why wasn't I able to get a sign? And I was getting a lot of signs, but I didn't put them together cohesively to think, oh my God, like I could have, why wasn't I given any insight? But it does make you, when you have that sort of loss, it feels like you're bleeding out of your hands. That's the type of pain that it is, especially when someone decides to take themselves out.
Yeah.
It changes. And I remember having a lot of sessions after that with people with suicides. Up to that point, I read people with suicides all the time, and I was able to be a little more objective. But then when it happens in your life, it was a lot harder for me to bring suicides through because to be objective. And then you're like, well, I'm getting all these messages, and I've been a medium 20 years. You've been a paranormal investigator for a very long time. And it's like, I'm getting all these messages for other people that without a shadow of a doubt, even these skeptics are believing, but I'm not getting anything for myself.
You become jaded, and that's the problem.
Yes, you do. Yeah, you do. You're like, why? Why am I giving out to everybody else, and I can't even get one message for myself?
Yeah. My daughter's been begging me. She's like, just do it just one last time. Take Auntie Eileen out, and let's just go and do. And there's something that's always held me back from it, and I think it's because of the fact that it's subconsciously you're jaded. Like you've recorded fantastical EVPs in prisons, and you've gotten spectacular pictures of things that are unexplicable for other people. Yeah. And then in your own life. And like, I have a sister. My sister, God bless her, she's my best friend. She's 5 years younger than me. I'm 43. She's 5 years younger than me. And she was like my mom's best friend. And, she has such a positive outlook on grief. Like my mom was a big Beatles fan. And when the Beatles come on the radio, she says, that's Mom. Mom's reaching out. And there's a part of me that's like, man, no, it's not. They've had 75 hits. Of course the Beatles are on the radio.
Right. Like you almost don't want it to be like a coincidence. Like everybody's like, oh, pennies and feathers and oh my.
They have 13 albums. Go figure a song is on the radio. I get very, I don't say that term, but I get very jaded about that. Yeah. And it's such a positive outlook, and I'm almost envious of that outlook at this point.
Yeah, and I think that people would think that me as a medium or you as a paranormal investigator, that we would have an easier time with something like this because of what we do. But there's no personal. It's not like they don't come to me just personally like, hey, I'm here. You know what I mean? It feels almost like a sick joke by the universe that you're able to provide this for everybody else, but you can't get that for yourself. And you would think that people would think that I would be okay with that, because I get like thousands of messages a year, and that's really not the case when it happens to you and you're in this industry. So let me ask you this.
Sure.
I know you came on my old radio show that was like in 2015, the Intuitate Radio. You came on.
That's right, I did.
And you did get a message from your mom on that show.
That was very, that was, I say that there was this one instance with the Facebook, but you just reminded me there's two. Because you pulled something out. I came dressed for success because I didn't know if that was being filmed in the studio. It was just audio, right? So I had like my suit and tie on, and I had like 3 layers of. Now my mom had just died a year prior. I think it was 2014 because you had just done the, where I had asked you to do the MC for my first pro fight, right?
Yeah, that was an interesting thing that I did.
I had a celebrity MC for my first pro fight. That was a lot of fun. So
my God.
So we were promoting that on Intuidate, and you had made mention about the necklace that I wear. Now, this is not something that I post on Facebook. It's not something that I wear openly. And the reason why is because it's a woman's chain. It's not a men's chain. But it just so happens that it's my mother's Virgin Mary and the Italian horn that she was given as a baby from Sicily. And you brought that up through 3 layers of clothing. So I have to say, kudos to you.
She's good.
Yeah, that was sharp. And believe me, I combed through Facebook when I got home to make sure I didn't post a picture somewhere of that necklace. I don't wear it outside of my shirt. I always keep it close to my chest. I always keep it under my shirt just because it's not like a men's designer necklace. It's a very thin gold chain. It's a woman's necklace. It's a woman's pendant. But it's my mom's. My dad gave it to me shortly after she passed, and I really don't take it off, aside from showers and such. And ironically enough, recently, the chain broke. The actual chain broke. And when my grandmother passed away, who actually helped raise me, my mom's mom, my uncle had provided me with my grandmother's chain. So I have my mom's medallions on my grandmother's, again, female chain, but under my shirt. I was very impressed and very shocked that you brought that to the limelight on that show back in the day.
And did she talked to you for a little while on the show, didn't she? She talked to you about life stuff. She had some life advice. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I remember you did get a message.
There was definitely some things that I took away that you wouldn't know unless you were in my house privately at like 1 a.m, right? Like you had mentioned something about me watching TV, eating cut up provolone that my mom saw me do. And I'm like, who would know that? Like, who would know that, like, in my PJs, I'm cutting up provolone cheese and eating that with some salami and watching TV. So, yeah, that was really interesting.
So did you end up, like, at any point since I've seen you, have you turned into a believer again, or are you still a skeptic?
I'm trying to broaden my horizons. How about that? So like since then, I've lost both my grandparents who helped raise me and a couple of good friends of mine who were my age that actually died of heart attacks. So that's ridiculously scary. And it's one of the reasons why I'm so glad that I kind of found my health. I mean, when I met you, I was probably 120 pounds heavier than I am today. Sans ugly knees, right? So that was...
I look at everybody's needs. It's not just you. It's not personal.
So, yeah. So, I mean, you know, reconciling the people that I've lost in my life, good friends, good family, people that, you know, are staple points in my life. Like my entire universe, from when I was a kid until now is completely different. Like there are chapters that are officially closed. Like you cannot go back to these chapters. And it's something that's been really like super hard to deal with. And I've, you know, talked with it with my dad. My dad has become like my best friend. You know, he went from being the kind of guy that's like, you know, I'm not your friend, I'm your father growing up, to being my best friend as an adult. And there are nights that we will just sit down and we will just hash out conversations about like, what do you do when you reach a point where there is so much loss that your entire, the entire ecosystem that you're in is now completely different. That chapter is closed. And now you're kind of embarking on like a new ecosystem. So there's that aspect of it. But like on the same token, I am still looking. I do constantly look. As much as I like to say, like, shmeh, there's nothing anymore, right? I'm constantly looking. I'm constantly keeping my eyes open. And I'm big into now, like, trying to remember the things that I dream about, the messages, the conversations that I have in my dreams. These are things that I wasn't cognizant of and trying to kind of keep in my frontal lobe before. And I'm actively trying to now. So I can't say I am 100% skeptic. I am hunting for my faith again.
Well, what was the craziest? Have you ever seen like a full-fledged apparition? What was the craziest thing you've seen in your investigative? Like, have you ever actually seen somebody like in front of you that died, like with your eyes? Like, have you seen this? Anything like that?
It's funny that you said that.
Of course, it's not, because it's coming to me.
It's so from ghost hunting wise, I can't necessarily say that I've physically seen something. Yeah. But as a younger kid, I woke up in the middle of the night and I saw a woman at the foot of my bed wearing a long black dress and a white lace like frock around the dress and her hair up. And I remember that was probably the first time in my life, probably the only time, that I was so terrified that I was paralyzed with fear. And I mean, when I say like you want to scream, but you can't scream. You want to move, but you can't move. Like you're completely paralyzed with fear. And when I finally, was able to muster up the moxie to take off, I remember running to my parents' room. My mom had a love seat in her room that as a little boy I would sleep in when I would have a bad dream. I remember finding my way to that love seat and never wanting to leave that love seat again because there's something messed up in my room. And ironically enough, my mom had got a picture of her great-grandmother, which would have been my great-great-grandmother, right? And it was a woman in a black dress with her hair up and a white lace frock around the dress. And my jaw dropped. So here, you want to talk about irony, that safe place, that little love seat in my parents' bedroom that I would go to when I would be freaked out. I inherited that.
Right there. Oh my God. And we're just talking about that right now.
So weird. Day, when I'm having a bad day, I'm much bigger than an 8-year-old boy. I have to really kind of contort my body on this love seat. But either way, it's still here in my house to this day. I keep it in my office. This is like my thinking chair now. But that's where I retreated to when I saw this thing. So that was the one only time that I could say that I saw like a full-blown person. But I had so many interesting experiences. And one of them was with Eileen. We had gone through the Mount Holly prison and spent the night at the famous Mount Holly prison. It was like the first prison in the North.
Over there?
I'm sorry?
She slept over at the prison?
Like into like the wee hours of the morning, yes.
Oh, I wouldn't be.
There was no sleeping. But we killed the power, killed the water, killed everything. So there's no false positives on anything that's going on around us. And what's fascinating was we got EVPs of children crying in the women's cell. So we found it interesting. I found it. We got these EVPs, and I had what would be Adobe Audition today. In its rudimentary form was called Cool Edit Pro. This audio video software where you could peel away layers of sound and get to, kind of like white noise. And I had these children crying. And it was baffling to both Eileen and I until we did due diligence on the prison. And it turns out that in the 17 to 1800s in Mount Holly, if a woman was incarcerated and there was no one to take her children, they had to bring their children into prison with them.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And we caught these EVPs in the Mount Holly prison itself. I think the greatest story, the greatest moment that I had as an investigator that happened with Sherry Coonan and Karen. Karen Martinelli. The both of them. They were the heads of the ghost investigation. You met them once or twice.
Okay. Because I don't think, yeah. I know them. Okay.
We had a couple nights at the Silver Coin Diner in Hamilton after an investigation you came along with. But either way,
Medport and the Grits.
Medport. Well, Silver Coin was on the White Horse Pike, so that was closer to Batstow. Did you do Batstow with us?
No.
Maybe you don't know them then.
No, I remember going to the Medport Diner and you introduced me to the Grits at the Medport Diner. That was your big thing, the Grits.
Listen, I would give anything for a bowl of grits today. I can't handle the carbs anymore.
You can't eat carbs. Well, I mean,
no one hires a chubby trainer at the gym. You know what I mean? So I have to keep a certain.
You can't have a little side dish of grits. What kind of life is that?
I wish. It's just you start with the grits and you end up eating a whole bag of Milanos, and that's really it's a slippery slope. So.
Well, I have to tell you, it's interesting because a lot of people that say they don't believe at all, they're skeptics, are people that as kids had like apparition experiences. And I'm like, how do you not believe if you've seen that and you've experienced it? most people have not, you know what I mean? But it's interesting because I'm already getting stuff around you already. So it's like, I've been keeping my mouth shut, but I'm already getting stuff. And I know Elise is getting stuff. So we got to transition this and get into.
So wait a second. I have to share like the best story yet with you before we move on.
Go for
this
it.
This is my coup de grace. This is my pied de resistance. My story.
Yes, please.
Story of stories for ghost hunting. So we were in Garden State Ghost Investigations. This is post-Dave Giuliano. So we had left South Jersey Paranormal. We were at Garden State Ghost Investigations, and we were doing a Potter's Field. Potter's Field is where they bury the poor, the indigent, the criminals that don't have families that properly bury them, right? Kind of like a really sad place to investigate. But we got the permission to go, and we figured it'd be a hot spot for something, right? So we were just looking to see if we could pick up anything. And what's super interesting is I got partnered up with a woman who was a police dispatcher, a professional woman that like, you know, had a respectable job and had her head about her. She was my partner, and I was to, you know, team up with her as I took photographs, and she kind of surveyed the scene, I guess you could say. And something happened in that cemetery that I've never experienced in real life, that I've only seen in movies and I've never seen since. And what had happened is that she began speaking like a 5-year-old girl out of nowhere, like that, just like a scared 5-year-old girl, and started crying. And she didn't want to be with me anymore. Like, she wanted to like go someplace else. And as I'm calling for help, I'm like, we've got a live one here. Like, someone, she's not in the right state of mind. As help is coming over, I take a picture. I don't know why I did. At the time, I thought I was being a jerk, but I got this picture that after everything was said and done, as this woman is crying and talking like a 5-year-old girl before she was escorted off the property. And by the way, by the time she got off the property, she had gotten sick and had rested her head in the back of a car, and she was fine and didn't remember anything that happened prior, which was really weird. But what was even weirder was the picture that I got mid 5-year-old tantrum. And what it was this mist that was outlining her body from her like derriere up and around her head. Now, this was not winter. You could not see my breath. At the time, I was a smoker, but we did not smoke in the cemetery just out of respect. It just wasn't something that we did. There was zero explanation for why there would be smoky mist around the perimeter of this woman's body while she was having a mental breakdown in this cemetery. And that, to this day, is like my time life moment of ghost hunting.
My God, I wish you could send me that photo and I'd pop it up here so people could see it. Yeah. That'd be awesome.
It was wildly interesting. It was, and I bet you they still have that on the site or have copies of it. I can get you a copy of it for another time. Yeah. Oh my gosh. It was surreal. And the fact that, you know, this is not someone that had come off as being like, you know, suffering from any mental issues, or like, it's not someone that came off as unstable. This was someone that seemed like she had her wits about her. And then out of nowhere, it was just, I can't explain it.
Well, thank you. Thanks for the stories. What are you drinking there? Water?
This is a little flavored water, some fruit water.
Great. I thought you were drinking like some alcohol.
But no. So this right here is, so with 4 kids, we are an Aldi's family. So this is the Aldi's version of the Nestle flavored water, the Aldi fruit water, right? Because we're on a budget here at Casa Speranza.
All right. Well, I have to tell you, I'm getting so much stuff that's coming in, and I don't know, Elise, are you getting stuff? But we're getting stuff about your life, about that, where everything.
A lot of info.
Yeah. Well, let me just tell you about the vision that I was getting over the past like minute. I don't know if this is mom or I don't know who it is that's coming in, but it's definitely from the other side. This is definitely not a reading from me that's coming through from here. I keep seeing this 70s yellow glass ashtray. And I have no idea why that's coming in. Like, you know, the old school ashtrays, like the big glass ones. like the antique ones. I'm not sure why I'm getting that.
I don't know.
And this might not be mom. Like I said, this could be a grandparent.
Someone else.
Yeah.
I was a smoker for many, many years. I smoked from 1996 until 2010. And
right. But I don't think this was your ashtray. This is an antique, like an antique, you know, those like mustard glass is like the yellow glass. Did you, and I see this older gentleman. So it feels like this guy is like he was in the 70s, like back in the day. And I get a sense of his house and I get a sense of this ashtray. And I don't know if it was passed down, but I don't know if it was maybe your mom's dad, but I get a sense of this like ashtray that was very significant. And I see like underneath it, I see this like metal stand that was underneath it where he would like, you know, like
an ashtray holder.
Yes, like a metal ashtray holder.
My grandmother had them. I'm not being the hog.
Maybe it's you, the hog. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's not Eric.
They had those glass thick ashtrays, and it was a metal stand that you could put the ashtray in, so you can be mobile with it. But it would sit like from the floor up, and that was my grandfather. He had like a ton of them in their house. So sorry, Eric.
Was there one passed down?
Maybe one was taken. I don't know if one was passed down, but my dad didn't smoke, but his brother smokes. So he may have. He lives in the house that they lived in, so he may have that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I still feel like I want to give that to you, Eric, even though you're saying
on that for sure. I know my grandfather smoked, but by the time I came around, he had already quit. He had quit in the. Geez, he may have quit in the 70s, to be honest with you. 60s, early 70s.
And now I'm seeing like the cartoon of Mickey Mouse. Okay, like I see the cartoon in my mind. So that could be a number of things. That could be Florida. That could be Disney World. That could be the name Mickey. Do you have any connection to Florida or Disney World with your mom? Is there anything that's connected there?
My grandparents took us to Florida when Ariana was little. That was their first time ever in Disney World, and they took us, my wife and I, and Ariana, my oldest daughter, with them.
Okay, so the man that I'm talking about, would he be the one that smoked? The man that took you to Disney World, the grandparent?
He did smoke, but not in my lifetime. Much, much earlier, he quit.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But would there be an antique glass ashtray that he would have in his house? You might have to think about this. Just keep it in mind.
I'm gonna have to do some due diligence on that because I lived in that house for a good few years, and they never had any ashtrays anymore by the time I was around. However, my grandmother's father actively smoked the day he died, and we would go see him on Fridays, and my grandmother would cook him like fish on Fridays, like a very old school Italian thing to do. So I'm wondering, maybe there's a connection there. I don't remember.
That's okay. Don't rack your brain.
So Marissa, I want to piggyback on the Disney Mickey ensemble because when Eric was speaking earlier, I was getting an image of like large pearls that look kind of like a choker pearl like this and a polka dot dress. So it's kind of playing into like Minnie Mouse almost like with Disney. So, but the other thing that came through was a cast iron pot or a frying pan that was used. So I don't know if that's...
So these people probably had those two antique things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think the same person's probably trying to get to you that's coming to me for him. You're going to get it before we leave. So you're going to understand.
We're going to make this connection.
Yeah, you're going to understand. This was somebody that you were either very little or weren't even born yet. I mean, this is way back. Okay. Like you could have been 1 or 2 at the time.
Yeah.
But this is, I see the bell-bottom pants on the guy. I see the slacks. I see everything in his house. The curtains that are very like dark, like the big heavy curtains.
Yeah.
Velvet curtains.
Yeah.
I'm so intrigued with this because I'm trying to piece together the pieces.
And he smoked. He smoked to the day he died. I know it. I hear it. I smell it. He smoked to the day he died.
I wonder. I'm going to have to ask who has one of those ashtrays.
It's just one. Nothing else made it through. None of his stuff. It just one was very like significant to him, and I think it's worth a lot of money. That's why he's maybe bringing it up to you. Now, to either of you, Elise or Eric, or even anyone in the chat room, I'm getting the name Daryl, and it's such a weird name, and I think it's a living person, Daryl, Darryll. It's a message about a living person named Daryl. So if anyone has Daryl in the chat room, let me know, unless you guys understand that, but it's about a living person named Daryl.
For once, so not me.
No, I don't think it's for you.
No.
Okay. So do you want to, Elise, you want to pull some cards on Eric and see what you get?
Well, I did. When he was talking, I was getting a couple of vibrations with what he was speaking about, especially about your mother. I got the strength card. I don't know if you can see that, Eric.
Okay.
And you were talking about how you kind of got jaded with doing your investigations. And I feel your mother's still like saying, you know, you should like listen, and you should accept what you see or what you do. She's kind of like letting the reins go. So I don't know if that makes sense. Was she very overbearing? Because I feel like
yes.
Was she
absolutely Italian? As any good New York Italian mother would be. She was the head of the household. I mean, she was the head of the family. She dictated how we all be.
So she's just like letting go of the reins. So she wants you to like just trust yourself. I feel like you have a lot of questions about yourself. The next card I got was the Ace of Cups, and it's like a 180 that you've made. I don't know if you can see that. So it's like a 180 that you've made. There's in this card, I'm feeling also there's a gentleman that's passed, that more of a grandfather figure for you. But I feel there's like he's trying to connect with you, and I think that's what the messages that Marisa has been giving you about this gentleman that smoked. You know, I think he's giving you information that you're probably just slugging off, saying, you know, I don't know what that means, or I'm just overthinking. I don't know if you get like these bursts of like messages in your head, or, you know, something will come to you. I'm like, oh yeah, but you'll say, oh, that was from that. You have to pay attention to the signs that are coming to you. One of the signs would be with water. So I don't know if you've had a water issue in your house lately, or if there's been some leaky faucets, but I'm feeling like there's either the valve's not tight enough from the main, but there's just double check that, tighten the main up, because I feel like you're going to have some kind of water issue. And that was from this card here, just so you know. And then the other card is the 10 of Wands. You got to let go of everything. You got it on your shoulders, especially now with everything that's going on today. You have like people that are like your children, you know, they depend on you and all, but you got to let go of these wands. It's too much energy, and I think it's from your days of being a ghost hunter. So I'm not saying anything's attached, but I feel like you still have that heaviness from like certain situations that happen. Like you need to like release it. So and releasing, I mean accepting everything. You know, don't be jaded. Listen to the messages that come through. It's always, and here, this is your daughter, the 21-year-old. I have a 21-year-old also, so I understand. You have my blessing. But is she going to college right now?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel that she's going to go for her master's. That makes sense. Sure. It's more with like, okay. Do you mind if I ask you what field she's going or she's studying in right now?
Psychology.
My daughter, she's psychology also. How funny is that? So I feel it's going to be more with like
parapsychology. She would. It's not offered at Rutgers New York.
But I feel like she's going to go beyond psychology, more with hand-on-hand trading, like a child, like working with children more. So more like child psychologists, that sort of family counseling, that sort of thing. But she's going to do well. I feel like it's real. And I don't know if there's love life. So is she dating somebody right now? Is she dating someone?
I don't know. I mean, she's talking to somebody.
Okay.
She doesn't have anyone serious yet. But then again, she's a grown woman, and I'm not in her cell phone. I don't know,
Well, obviously, yeah. But this is a great relationship card, the Two of Cups, because it's a one-on-one, soulmate type situation. If she does, so I feel that's going to be coming into her life also. Not now, but I feel maybe once she graduates and all this crap of COVID-19 is gone, they're able to get out and do what they can. So, and again, this card, the Eight of Cups,
in a house that's not serious. She doesn't waste our time with people that aren't serious in her life.
Sure, but just know that's so funny because both our kids are 21. They're both going for a psychology major, so that's kind of cool. And then the last card I want to pull for you is the Eight of Cups, and it's just releasing everything that you've held on to, and grief, and being jaded, and now I know that you work out, but please watch your spine. Okay, I'm getting I do medical intuitive readings, so I'm drawn to the spine here, and especially the lumbar area. So just watch the exercises that you're doing. It's just preventative. Just be careful with your back, and the glutes too, the old buttocks.
The butt, as it were.
What's that?
I said the butt, as it were.
Yes. So it's just pulled muscles. It's probably because you're not as active as you were. So just take it easy.
With COVID-19 and the lockdown, I was very limited on what I could do. And recently, as martial arts schools are allowed to open up again as of July 2nd, I went back to jujitsu. And for the first time the first time ever, I felt like an old guy. I felt rickety.
Because we're all getting old. Every second we're getting older. But you need to just take it easy, baby steps in the beginning. Don't go in full force. Like, I got this. Because you're going to get it. Something's going to pull. And especially in the lumbar area, I really feel there's going to be an issue there, or you have one already. But something's coming up.
Awesome.
So just be careful.
This is weird. I'm getting messages for people in the chat room. So while you were reading Eric,
I'm done. Go ahead.
I was just I'm trying all this different stuff out for readings on this type of format. I don't know what's going to work, what's not. Sure. So I was just, when you were reading Eric, I was kind of going over here and reading somebody in the chat room who I'm not sure.
No, that's cool.
But giving that information, seeing if it works that way. But also, Eric, I am absolutely sure that this ashtray symbolism is for you. I know it. Like, I could feel it. I'm also getting the name Paula or Paul. Who's that to you?
I don't have a Paula in my family or in my social circle or a Paul.
Polly, a Paula, somebody that your mom might have known that was a friend, and a Lynn or a Linda. I just want you to write this stuff down because it's for you.
Yeah. Paul or Lynn or Linda.
Now, Linda is living for sure. Lynn or Linda.
I'll have to do some due diligence on that.
Can I ask you something about your mom? Did you keep anything from the hospital that she wore after she passed, like a bracelet? Did you keep anything that she had on her wrist?
No, I didn't.
Did somebody? Your mom is coming through. I'm telling you, she's here. But you gotta try to force yourself to figure out what's coming, what she wants to say, because she's trying real hard to get through to you. And she's also giving me a sense that you need some dental work and you need to go and get your teeth checked or something about a back molar or something. And she's telling you need to go and get something done with your teeth.
Huh. Wow, that's pretty amazing. That's actually really funny.
Wow.
Because I broke a tooth during COVID and I haven't had it crowned yet.
Okay, and it's in the back, right?
It's right back here, yeah.
Yeah, so your mom's here.
I was eating almonds and it cracked in the middle of the night. And I was like, oh God, oh God, oh God. And I just dealt with it until the dentist opened back up again. But on the same token, my business picked up, so I haven't actually gone yet.
Yeah, but that's not the point. Your mom's telling us that you have this tooth situation, and I can't see inside your mouth. So
pretty wild.
Pay attention to the messages.
Yeah, I feel like he's being a little bit closed off to us. Do you feel that way, Elise?
I do, because like
Yeah,
I kind of like you're cutting us off. Like open the channel
really
a little bit.
I'm taking diligent notes.
No. You're being a little bit like people that we have a hard time with. So we got to break you down a little bit here.
Yeah. All right, break me down.
Well, you got to let us break you down.
I'm back.
And I've seen a guy with an American flag too coming in. So somebody was in the military, and somebody has the American flag, or somebody male in the military, because he's coming through with your mom on the other side.
I would think that.
Did somebody get like a Medal of Honor did somebody actually get like was somebody recognized in the military that had like actual medals?
My grandfather was a Seabee during World War II, and he had a Navy funeral when he passed last year.
So I would say that would be significant.
Yeah. And well, I don't have it. His son, my uncle, has his flag that was over his coffin. Yeah,
that's who's coming through too. And was your mom close to him?
Oh yeah, much closer than anyone. I mean, my mom and my grandfather were tight.
Okay, well, they're together on the other side. I just want to let you know she's coming through with him.
Well, that's awesome.
Who's Mariana or Marianne or Mary?
Marianne is okay, so Mary, middle name Ann, is my wife. But Marianne is my mom. One word.
Marianne.
Yeah.
Marianne, right?
That's my mom.
Okay, well, she's given us her name, and she's given us the person she's with. And we don't know what the ashtray is, but I
don't know the ashtray. But the dentist thing intrigues me. I am wildly intrigued.
Well, her name doesn't intrigue you, but the dentist intrigues you. But that's okay. Okay. All right. So he's opening up. So you feel that the door is cracking a little bit.
A little bit.
Down.
Yeah. A little bit. Yep.
Oh my God, Eric! Out of all people, I wouldn't think you'd be the one to be difficult here.
No, I'm trying to reconcile the
You're thinking too much. Don't try to reconcile it. Write it down. We don't care.
Yeah, got it. I'm gonna do some due diligence later. But I love the fact that the notion that they're together, and I think that's really special. That's really important for me.
And does this man who passed that had the military funeral, does he have a son?
Yes.
Okay. Because he's mentioning that something was supposed to be given to his son. There was something that was supposed to be passed down or given to his son that never got to him, or something that was supposed to be reconciled within the estate, or something given to him that was very important to his dad. And I feel like he wasn't the recipient of it. It's his dad's not happy about that. So it could have been a piece of memorabilia. It could have been that medal I was talking about.
Yeah.
And then I'm also getting the name Pat or Patricia or Patty.
Pat. I had an uncle Pat, my grandmother's brother-in-law.
Is he passed?
Yes.
Okay, so they're all coming through with your mom. Everybody.
Just that little bit of opening, Eric.
Yeah, see the little bit of opening. You know what happened? I looked in his mouth. That's what happened. She gave me the information about the dentist, and he just opened wide up.
That was it.
Not for the dentist, but for me.
My broken tooth.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm trying to.
Your mom is giving me a feeling like you have to it's time for you to move forward. Big time.
Yes.
And she says you know what she means. And July is a birthday month for somebody?
Me.
You? Okay. Happy birthday from Mom on the other
birthday.
side. And she's showing me a little ring, an antique ring. I'm not sure what this is, but it could have even been worn on somebody's pinky, but it's a small ring. She's giving me a sense of that too. That could have been passed down.
I wonder if my sister has any.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
and
know.
Do you know a Debbie? Did I already tell you about a Debbie?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know a Debbie. Deborah. Oh, Deborah. Yeah. I do know a Deborah.
Who's that?
One of my mom's best friends growing up, Deborah and Netta. They're friends with me on Facebook, and they check in on me from time to time. They were my mom's best friends.
Well, let me just tell you that Deborah or Debbie your mom came through after she passed. She came to Debbie. So ask Debbie about this. Tell her that this wasn't a coincidence. She either saw her or had a very, very, very vivid dream about her. So she wants to tell Debbie she's around and she's haunting her. It's kind of a joke that they kind of shared.
I can't wait to reach out to Deborah. I'm excited.
Yeah.
That's like the first Facebook thing after I'm done.
Yeah. So are you believing that it's your mom yet or no?
You pulled some stuff out tonight that's undeniable. I mean, my mom, first of all, just her name coming through. One of the things that really sucks is that I had said this out loud in July, is like, I don't get my voicemail messages from my mom on my birthday anymore. She seems
so she probably wanted to say happy birthday then.
Yeah, it's kind of trivial, but I always dodged the call because I was busy working, and then I would listen to the voicemail later, and it'd be my mom wishing me a happy birthday. So that was really cool.
Yeah, so that's something that you needed to experience.
That was
she likes your hat too, your cap.
My mom and I, one of the best memories I had with her before she passed was the Yankees beating the Phillies in the World Series. My house just burned to the ground, and I was staying with them. First time I had lived with them in I don't know how many years, and I didn't have anything. My family was misplaced. They were staying at my in-laws' house, and I was at my mom's house. And in that moment, all we had was the Yankees, her and I, and we watched that Yankees World Series and screamed at that TV from this love seat.
So isn't it weird that she all of a sudden, like we've been doing this reading for a while, all of a sudden would mention your hat?
Yeah, that's something special. I'm kind of aghast. It's kind of hard to leave me speechless. We're saying you're kind of doing it. Like I'm a public speaker for a living, and I'm kind of tripping over my words a little bit here. So
can you give me a reading next so I can be speechless too?
For you, I got burpees and jumping jacks and jujitsu. I don't know if that's going to leave you speechless or not, but yeah. I don't have your kind of power. But that's so intriguing.
No, she's telling me too. She's not shutting up. She's kind of talking now a lot.
You bet then. Good. That's
yeah. She's telling me that we talked about the chain, and you brought that up earlier. She's saying you need a whole new chain. You can't fix that. She's saying you need a whole new. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about keeping that chain. It's not going to hold everything. You're going to need to get a new.
This one here is my grandmother's. My mom's chain is broken. I still keep it because I'm afraid to get rid of it.
Yeah, but you have to get a whole new thing. And then I see somebody on the other side with them, and you might not be able to put this together yet.
Yeah.
It's somebody in a wheelchair that's over there that had to use a motorized wheelchair at one point. I feel like they had some sort of paralysis, but there's somebody that passed away of some sort of genetic issue that's over there with them. And I feel like your mom had a really special place in her heart for this person, but this person was in a wheelchair before they passed. So you don't have to figure it out, but
I'm taking notes. I'm going to be making phone calls and emails and texts.
And Elise, do you have a Larry? There's a Larry coming through, and it might be for somebody in the chat room, but there's a Larry.
Maybe somebody, I don't know offhand, but maybe somebody in the chat room.
Yeah. So you don't have a Larry, right? Or your mom didn't have a Larry?
I have no Larry.
Okay. Larry's coming through for somebody out there. Larry wants to come through. This is somebody passed. Larry wants to come through for somebody in the chat room to say hi. He's doing well on the other side. He did have a leg issue. He had a limp kind of on one side, and a big tall guy. He's a lanky tall dude. He's coming through wanting to say hi to everyone. He did make it through on the other side, so I have to just give that message. But Eric, your mom, I know it's kind of weird, but I don't know if this already happened or if it's going to happen. Okay. But I'm getting something about an old radio. I don't know if it was like one of them, from the 80s. It was like where they had the antenna and a static it's like tuning in, static radio, or like the old car radio. It feels like something happened with the radio, but it wasn't like, a newer radio. This is an old one that you would like stand up with the speaker and antenna. A lot of these older, I don't know what she's trying to tell me. It's very symbolic. It's a picture, it's a vision, but I'm not really sure how to interpret it.
So, and this is probably the most powerful thing yet, aside from my cracked tooth. My dad got donated a rack stereo in his parish that he couldn't find a home for. And I took it because I was really interested in collecting vinyl. So what had happened was my dad brought it here, and I went out and I started buying vinyl. And I bought stuff that my parents played in the house when I was a kid and stuff that I always wanted to own on vinyl and never did, and nothing new, only classic stuff. And I bought my mom's, one of her favorite albums of all time was Fleetwood Mac Rumors. And I played it incessantly in this house over and over again on this old stereo, on this old record player with the big Advent speakers and the rack, and went out and bought their prior album, the White Album, the Fleetwood Mac White Album. And it's been like a constant sound in this house probably for the last 3 months. I've been going back and listening to Fleetwood Mac and some of her Beatles stuff. I replaced some of her Beatles stuff, but something about Stevie Nicks, my mom was just obsessed over, and it's been playing in this house on this stereo nonstop, in this old stereo that my dad just passed on to me.
Well, she knows about it, and she's messing with it. She's doing stuff with it, with the electronics. I can tell you that. And then she keeps laughing. She's like, "Don't eat the donuts! Don't eat the donuts!" So I don't know what that means. If you used to like donuts and Krispy Kreme, but not sure.
I pretty much ate everything. There was nothing I didn't eat.
All right. Well, she wanted to bring up the stereo thing with the antenna, the old school thing, just to kind of blow you away, and just to kind of crack the egg open and saute it in the pan.
That was fantastic. I mean, it's been something that she's been to the point where my sister and I, my sister has 2 kids and a whole life of her own with a husband and a job, and it's amazing that something as simple as talking about this music. My sister and I spend a good hour on the phone at a clip talking about, you remember mom singing this in the car? You remember mom singing this in the house? Let me send this to you. I have this on MP3. I'm going to send it to you on Google Share. And I bought this record and I was thinking about you today, and, talking about mom. And like, that was something that has been a conversation starter with my sister, where we usually don't carve out a whole lot of time for each other. We've been on the phone with each other quite a bit lately over it, which is pretty amazing.
And that I don't know that because we just
never posted it. Never. I mean, I post that I collect vinyl, but there's nothing that's really, I am by nature, I'm like, 80s hair metal and 90s hip hop, like New Jack Swing hip hop, and like 90s to early 2000s, like East Village punk. Like, that's what I like. So like, for me I would never actually put it out there that I've been obsessed with Stevie Nicks for 3 months. It's not something that, so it's kind of interesting. It's very interesting.
Yeah. And I don't have a personal Facebook page either. So it's not like, I'm looking up. Elise, do you add anything else? Do you want to add anything more to the pot here? Looks like Eric's opening up a little bit. I see his little fluttering heart.
Yeah. I have no need to follow up with these people.
The only thing that was coming to me was someone that passed that had foot problems. So I'm seeing like these old orthopedic type looking shoes that like clunked. It was like a joke in the family, tap dancing or something of the sort. So I don't know if they did it to that person's. It's a gentleman, but if did it to his face, or it was like a family, like, haha, oh, we can hear him coming down the street from the house, that sort of thing. So this person didn't. I'm sorry.
You can hear my grandfather stomping up the stairs. He would come in through the garage, so he had a row home, right?
Okay.
And, you'd either walk up 14 steps to the stoop of the front door, or you could walk in through the garage and just kind of take the steps up. You could hear.
Okay.
Up the steps.
Well, he's here.
I got everybody around you, Eric. I guess you were meant not to come on last week because you wouldn't have
meant not to come on last week.
You wouldn't have gotten anything.
You wouldn't have gotten a reading. Jason did.
I can't wait to find out. I want to ask about, the first thing I'm going to be doing is messaging Deborah for sure. Like that's the first message I'm sending out.
There's one last message for you because I keep having to tell you, it's a dollar bill. It's an old dollar bill, and there's a tear right on the right side. If you hold it up, there's a tear, and it's an old dollar bill. I don't know if it's in a wallet or just write it down. There's something very significant about this. Very old dollar bill, like somewhere in a book or a wallet, somewhere like you'll find it like falls out of somewhere. And I don't think this has happened yet. So just be on the lookout.
But ironically enough, I just inherited a bunch of my grandfather's books. So who knows what might fall out of that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. My grandfather's son, my uncle, is now living in their house until the estate closes. And it's kind of ironic that you talked about his son and not getting something yet. Because his son, my uncle, is the executor on their estate, and it hasn't closed yet.
Okay. Well, you're going to have to maybe come back next week and give us updates on all these.
I'm so excited. I have so much research to do.
You have research to do, and you have to let us know how everything happened.
I can't wait. This is really, I have so much to follow up on. I'm really excited.
Yeah, you were tough, but it was good. I like tough people you have to break down because it just makes it better in the end.
The smoking thing threw me off. The ashtray, you went right for the necklace the first time.
It might be in the estate.
It might be in the estate, though. Like at least it might be in this house with the estate, and he's saying it's worth a lot of money, so do not get rid of it. This is an antique ashtray. He might think it's not worth anything, but the stand, this is worth money, like thousands of dollars.
Grab it.
Fair.
Take the ashtray. Take the ashtray, Eric.
This is awesome.
That ashtray. It's a good birthday present. You might be able to buy yourself a new elliptical or something.
My Walmart special elliptical is not really holding up anymore. So when it's for $99, you're getting what you're paying for. Remember that.
What kind of ellipticals do you like for the people who want to work out from home? What's the brand? What's a good brand of elliptical or treadmill?
I am a big fan of Life Fitness.
Okay. So all you ladies, if you want to get fit at home, you should buy Life Fitness or what about Proform? Is that a good brand?
Yeah, I always liked Life Fitness because it lined up with the Polar watches. So if you get yourself a Polar watch, it'll sync up with it, and you can track your calories burned and your goals and stuff. It broadcasts to your phone. Like there's something about Polar that lines up with Life Fitness that it just syncs, and it's really cool.
Awesome. Well,
when I first started, I didn't have an iWatch when I first started. This didn't exist yet. I had a Polar watch. I would wear a heart monitor and a Polar watch, and it would always sync to the Life Fitness equipment, and it would track my true calorie burn whenever I was working out. And it was just, Joanne is blown away with all the information that I got. I promise I will let Joanne know. I will let you guys know. If
we all want to know. We all want to know. You have to come back and tell us what you found out. Yeah, like next week.
I'm down. You know I love talking with you. I can talk with you any day. Tuesday, Thursday, St. Crispin's Day, it doesn't matter.
All right. Well, we appreciate having you on. We do have to start closing it up and wrapping it up. So, Elise, thank you again for your
thanks for having me.
presence. I think you're going to be on a lot more, let me tell you, because everybody loves you.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, you're a great. I don't know. It's almost like I need to have you here with me. Need to have you.
We're a team.
At least I'm bagging what you're raking. I appreciate your effort tonight. Marissa, you know I always appreciate you. You are one of my most favorite people.
Thank you, Eric.
By the way, we did meet at a radio station.
Okay. That's what I thought.
945 WPST.
All right.
Sales guy. You were doing commercials for one of your shows. And I was like, hey, man, you don't know me, but I do paranormal investigations, and boy, it would be cool if we could hang out with a medium. And you're like, well, yeah, crazy person. But I'll tell you what the bridge was. You know what the bridge was? Do you remember?
No.
What favorite 90s rock band did you and I vibe with so heavy on? That was the icebreaker that you finally came out and started doing investigations with us. Do you remember?
Depeche Mode?
Close. Nothing coming?
No. I'm a little out of it from all your relatives.
Yeah.
They can join you out.
And live.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Concert together at Live in Atlantic City.
We went there together.
Not together. You happen to be at the same show. That was a talking point. That was our icebreaker, man. How did I remember this? Now I'm hurt. Now I'm wounded.
No, I just remember you in the conference room sitting there and like I don't know if you were smoking a cigarette back then.
I probably was.
Yeah.
I was like morbidly obese and smoking a pack a day, so sure. But yeah, we talked about Live. You were at a show in Atlantic City that I was at the same show. And I was like, oh my gosh, who likes Live? And you were like,
I do.
There you go.
Supernatural. I love when he does Supernatural.
Ooh. I have Live at the Paradiso. You have to get that album. That's a good album.
All right. Send me some playlists, will you? Make a playlist for me. I need
you guys. I thank you all, and I thank you for your listeners. Shout out to PST, where Michelle first heard Marissa. Me too. Yeah. Funny enough.
Awesome. Well, Elise, thank you for coming. I don't know. I'm out there.
I'm done.
If my mother exhausts you, she has a tendency to do this.
Yes, yeah. I am like, I can't even like think right now. So I gotta go. All right, guys. Thanks so much. I tried to do this very much.
I will tune back again.
All right. I hope you guys enjoyed me trying to read in the chat room too. I'm just trying to figure out how this all works. So love the show tonight. Thanks, Eric. Thanks, Elise. And
thank you for having me. And thank to everyone that attended. And Elise, thank you too as well. I appreciate you guys.
You're welcome. Everybody have a great weekend. Oh, sorry.
Next week, Eric is going to tell us what happened. We also have author Bob Grant coming on. He is like the author of this book, Women Men Adore and Never Want to Leave. Don't ever want to leave. Don't ever want to leave. Don't ever want to leave. That's my OCD because you don't say that word. But he has that book. And we're going to have, you know how women, do the cycles of the same man over and over again, wanting different results. Well, he's going to talk to us about how to break that cycle. And we're going to have one of my clients come on that's wanting a commitment from this guy and doesn't know how to get it. So we're going to talk about our favorite topic, men in love. And Eric's going to come on and who knows what will happen next.
I may fall in love. Who knows? It could all happen on the lounge.
Well, your knees are better now. And they're speaking to me from afar with Caribbean music. And so I feel like, it's time.
It's sure. It's time to find love. I appreciate it.
All right, guys.
For the knees. All right, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you guys.